Today I'm going to debunk satellites using satellites. In this instance, 2 US weather satellites. Bear with me. Now I just wanted to see how many weather satellites the US had. NOAA owns 9 satellites, which include 4 geostationary, which is the GOES range, 4 polar orbiting satellites as well, and there must be another one random, which probably is out of service. Just want to scroll down here as well. The United States operates 2 GOES weather satellites, one over the east coast and one over the west coast. They have overlapping coverage in central United States. And it says here are some views, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But first we're just going to have a look at an animation regarding these 2 geostationary weather satellites for the US.
Geostationary satellites constantly monitor the Western Hemisphere from 22,240 miles above the Earth.
So according to NOAA, the 2 satellites which give the US its weather service, one on the east coast, the other on the west coast, they overlap in the middle there. Of course, we get this illustration, this cartoon here showing us how it supposedly all works. Overlapping in the middle of Central America, the coverage, but essentially between the 2 satellites, they've got coverage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over the whole of America, thus giving them their weather service. Bear with me. Just going to have a look at the view from each satellite supposedly here. First we'll start on the west coast. GOES West satellite. You can see the outline of America top right here. Essentially that's the view of the satellite, giving the weather there 24/7. Let's have a look at the other one, the east. We got the east, the other side of America, again giving you your views, your weather 24/7 supposedly. Now the reason I say supposedly is because if those 2 geostationary satellites were real and were providing the US weather service and the data, then NOAA would have no need for weather balloons whatsoever. But when we dig a little bit deeper, it turns out NOAA rely on weather balloons, so much so that they're having to launch over 180 weather balloons every single day in the US, which is strange when you consider the GOES satellites are supposedly supplying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage for their weather. Look at this, really revealing. This is an article from a few years back, NOAA, discussing the move from manual to potential automated weather balloon launches. Okay, you would have thought if they want to save money and cost, you ditch this Victorian technology that is weather balloons and you'd be relying on space futuristic tech now. But it turns out, as we can see down here, the trusty weather balloon has been an essential data tool for forecasters for nearly 90 years. NOAA's National Weather Service has launched these balloons since the 30s to collect temperature, humidity and other data in the upper atmosphere as they sail through the troposphere and the stratosphere. Fitted with special data transmitters called radiosondes, balloons are launched twice a day at 92 sites across the US, including 13 in Alaska. Alaska launches generate data that are especially important to support downstream forecasts for the lower 48 states. Very revealing. Now you wouldn't need to rely on all those balloon launches every single day if you had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage from these 2 geostationary satellites. Kind of gives the game away and busts this satellite myth, i.e. tin cans going around a ball. Satellites are balloons and high altitude military planes and other military planes as well, depending on what supposed satellite is at play. But in this instance, weather satellites clearly are weather balloons. Otherwise, NOAA wouldn't need to rely on a Victorian tech, i.e. weather balloons, to provide with all their data and weather if they had 2 geostationary satellites in space providing them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage. In fact, you would have basically got rid of all those balloons, got rid of all that, and had a backup system of geostationary satellites should your main ones fail. And if they happen to fail, your backup geostationary satellites, then you dig out your weather balloons, wouldn't you, as a backup system. But no, 184 launches a day, every day. That's your real satellites. That's what provides the data that sells the geostationary GOES US weather satellites. And anyone claiming to have a satellite, a geostationary weather satellite, has no doubt got a weather balloon program running. It's that simple. Sorry, folks. If you want to believe in absurdities like living on a ball, spinning and wobbling through a vacuum, or satellites going around a ball, then that's up to you. Just don't expect someone like myself to entertain those delusions. As we've shown here, NOAA owns the satellites, the geostationary weather satellites that provide the US with their weather service, but strangely enough, NOAA every single day has to launch over 180 weather balloons. You couldn't make it any more obvious if you tried, NOAA, and for that we thank you.